Hi, it's Tracy from Two Rocks Tarot, and I know it's been a while since you've actually seen my face, but I thought I would do a bit of an update on my health and how's it's all going. So as you can see, my hair is slowly starting to grow back. It's very, very thin at the moment. What I actually done is I actually shaved the sides and the back of my head, like I used to when it was long anyway, just to make it look like I got more on top. You'll have to excuse me wearing my husband's old flannelly, but that's what we call them here in Australia, old flannelette shirts. We call them flannies here. I'll get to that in a minute why I'm wearing it. So I finished my chemo on the 22nd of June. I'm filming this on the 15th of July. And the last 4 chemos was a really, really rough trot, to put it mildly. It really took a lot. It really knocked me for a 6, to be honest. It was really rough. But I was speaking to a woman in my surgeon's waiting room, and she had 12 lots of chemo that were called the Red Devil. So I can only imagine how bad that chemo was, really. So even with everything that's happening, I'm still actually better off than a lot of other people, believe me. So I still look sick. I sort of I didn't bother putting penciling in my eyebrows, but I've kind of lost my eyebrows. But I've never really had much to begin with anyway. But they're slowly starting to come back as well. I didn't lose my eyelashes, which is one thing that can happen as well. I'm due to start radiotherapy next week on the 19th, and that's going to be 5 weeks, I think it is, 25. And it's basically 15 minutes every day I have to go. And I've got to drive like 60k round trip to do it, which is still good, because the other alternative is to get it for free. I would have to drive to the city, to a big hospital called Charlie Gardner here in Perth, and that would have been kind of more or less like a 2-hour trip just for 15 minutes. So I've actually gone to a private company. He actually teaches. He's an actual teacher, in quite well renowned in the cancer type of industry, if you want to call it like that. And they had to pay for this one, but the beauty was it's local. So to give you an idea of how much it would have cost, everyone poo-poos our public healthcare system here in Australia, but Medicare has really been a godsend. It would have cost us $16,300 for my radiation treatment, and with Medicare it's been capped at $750. So that's all we have to pay, which is still quite a lot of money because we're only on a one income. But at least it's affordable. You don't have to pay it all at once. You can pay it off. But we've already sort of, when we knew how much it was going to cost, we've already put the money aside, ready to go for when I start. The tougher chemo, I think the worst thing about is with chemo is your taste kind of goes. So everything tastes like salt. So you have your coffee in the morning, it tastes like salt. You have a glass of water, it tastes like salt. You cook, tastes like salt. It's really one of the worst side effects. I had really, I think I might have mentioned this in another video. I haven't watched my previous ones, when I got really bad ulcers in my mouth to the point that I couldn't lick my lips, my every single teeth. This is the first of the stronger chemo I had. All my teeth were aching right down into my neck. It was just my skin. It looks a little bit red now, but it's actually a lot better. I really come out like a very bad sunburn, and this would have been the second lot of the 4 rough chemos that I had. So I had to buy some special cream called Mugu. Funny enough, it's in a Queensland company. I should have actually grabbed it, but it's really good. It's a barrier cream, and basically got rid of it helped straight away. Actually, I couldn't believe it. I've got I can't actually show you, but I used to have rashes on my hand. I've actually got a burn mark from the first lot of chemo, and that's actually faded now. You can hardly see it. That's how good this cream is. So it's actually called Mugu. I don't know if you can get it, if they post it overseas or anything like that, but it's all very natural. So of course my oncologist, he wanted to see me each time after I had this stronger lot of chemo, because there are a lot more side effects. So I told him what happened, and I had to take a Clarendine, which is actually for what's it called, like hay fever. But that helps because not only that, you had a really sore throat as well. So I had to take that for the 7 days. So as soon as I had my chemo, I started that. And the second time around, it was a lot better. Of course, I still took my crystals with me. I took a little bit more for some more oomph because it was a lot stronger. And that helped a lot, an absolute lot. And then another thing with this chemo is you can get nerve damage in your fingers and your hands. So after the third lot, I noticed my fingers are numb. They're getting better. What I've been doing is holding a lot of hematite, and I've got a selenite, like unicorn horn type of wand that I sort of rub in my hands like that to help. But he wanted to, on my fall time, he wanted to actually delay it for another 2 weeks, and I said nah, because it could become permanent. And I said nah, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna wait another 2 weeks, because you really hype yourself up for the chemo to get ready for the shittiness that you feel. And usually, the first lots of chemo sort of after a week I'd come right. Well, this one 3 weeks and I still wasn't right. Another effect was, and it's only yesterday that this has actually gone, is being out of breath. The fatigue that you get with this lot of chemo is incredible. Just having a shower, I'll be out of breath. Once I've dried myself, I'll be out of breath. I'd have to sit down, then I could dress myself. I'd be out of breath, and then I have to sit down again after I'm dressed. It was freaking awful, really, really awful. So today's the 15th, and today is the most that I feel like myself now. But as I said, only yesterday I stopped being out of breath. And it's much like those of you, because I am asthmatic, so those of you who suffer from asthma, it's like that, but you've got that fatigue on top of you as well. It's really hard to describe. The salt taste is nearly gone, so I'm starting to taste my food properly. It comes and goes now. I don't get reflux anymore, so I don't have to take I was taking tablets for the reflux as well. But what I have got about 2 weeks ago was lymphedema, which is when you have your lymph nodes taken out, it can't drain away fluid, so you can end up with a swollen arm. Your arm can swell up. Now, I did all my exercises to get my mobility back, and now it's a little bit harder to, again, my mobility is sort of a little bit, so that's why I'm wearing this shirt, so I have to wear this pressure bandage that goes all the way up here, and it's one that you can just undo. So this hand was actually like a balloon. I sent her, because Nina texted me to see how I was going, and I sent her a photo of my hand. She couldn't believe it. It looked like a fake hand. That's how fat it was. So that's why I went back to my breast surgeon, and he just wanted to check to make, because it come up overnight. I just woke up on a Wednesday and my whole arm and hand was swollen, and he wanted to check that there wasn't a blood clot in my under my arm area, and it wasn't. It was all good. But because of this, I've had to go and see an occupational health therapist, where I got this pressure bandage thing from, because what usually happens is you go and see them and they bandage up your arm every day. But because I have to go and have radiotherapy every day, it wasn't practical for me. Plus, it's not close to where I live. Everywhere I have to go for treatment is always like a good hour away, okay? So I wasn't going to go there and then have to go, to two different, because the hospital and where she's located are completely different areas, and it was just going to be too much. So she come up with this idea that I can wear. I have to see her on a Friday. I've got to go once a week for 6 weeks and get strapped up to this machine. I'll put a photo in there. And what that actually does, although it looks like a straitjacket, it massages the arm, so it massages up the fluid up, so it can actually drain away. So I've had that. So I've got limited, I can't shuffle. I just realised today, I've been reading tarot for 30 odd years or something, and I never realised that I actually shuffled with my left hand. I'm right-handed, but I use the left hand to shuffle, so it's really awkward. I'm going to actually try and see if I can actually shuffle with my right hand and see how I go. So that's another unfortunate thing that's happened. I've also got really, really watery eyes. I probably look a little bit red now, and plus, just to look even more beautiful, I've got a sty on my right eye as well, which I haven't had for years, so it just shows you how run down you get. But the annoying thing is, and also twitchy eyes, very, very badly, particularly my left eye, twitching like crazy. But when I talked to my oncologist, he said, oh, no, it can't be the chemo. And then you go on to the cancer forums that are available from, the Breast Care WA and Cancer of Australia. And the women say yes, that they have had the twitchy eyes. One lady actually works on TV, and for 6 years, her eyes have been running. I've noticed in the past couple of days they have gotten better, but it's a really annoying thing because my skin started to dry under my eyes, so it looked like I had even more bloody wrinkles because of all the tears. I'm constantly having to dab my eyes. So that's another unfortunate side effect. But the lymphedema is the worst because it's limited my mobility. But I thought I should come on and just say what's going on and tell it like it is, because this is cancer. This is the reality. You look like shit. For the first time, I said to my husband last night, I can understand why they have that look good and feel better classes to where women go and they get makeup put on and think. Well, see, I don't wear makeup. If I wear makeup, the only thing I wear would be mascara. That's about it, and a bit of lip gloss. That's it. That's all I wear. Oh, and eyeliner. But I just don't really wear makeup. But I can understand now why women go to those classes, because you really do feel ugly. I just can't, you just feel freaking ugly. And that's the truth of cancer. It's ugly, okay? You have to go through so much. You feel like shit. And you just, and the fatigue. For me, the fatigue was the worst, besides the ulcers, once I got them under control, because I couldn't even eat. Like an egg, a softball egg, 2-minute noodles, even that was hard. I couldn't even eat that. So it was really, really hard. So then the radiotherapy, the first time I went there was a couple of weeks ago, just to get tattooed up. So what they do is you lie on an actual, it's like a bean bag. And what they do is they mould it to your shape so that you're in the exact same position every time you go and have your radiotherapy. And then you get tattoos, so you have a tattoo there, and I've got one either side so that they can measure it up and hit the target areas. So for me, they want to start up onto this bit and under my arm, as the chest area as well. I'm not too sure on that because I had the mastectomy. So that's what they do. So that took about an hour. The tattoos are permanent, but I've noticed I can't see the one that they done at the front here. I think it's gone. I can see the other two, but are very faded. So this will be interesting when I go there on Tuesday. But the worst thing is, because I'm having it in this area, the chest area. So what you do is, once you line your bean bag, the radiotherapy is about this far away from, that far away from your face. Okay, so it's kind of claustrophobic. You have to have both your arms at the back holding on to like little like handles, just to hold you still there. And one of them is a button. And what you've got to do is you've got to press, you have your nose pinched, so they also put something on your nose so you can't breathe. You press the button, take a deep breath in and hold it for 25 seconds. So your heart drops behind your rib cage and the radiation doesn't affect it. So in the olden days, but in the past, they never used to do that, so the radiation could affect your heart. Now I can still have heart problems when I get older because of the chemo as well as this, but apparently this is a really good preventive measure because the rib cage is actually protecting your heart. So they want you to hold your breath for 30 seconds, but 25 was enough for me because I was still quite breathless back then, So, for me, usually when I park like far away and I walk. Oh, well, now I have to park as close as I damn well can to the building because I just haven't got the strength to walk. In fact, when I went to get tattooed up, I parked in a shopping centre to get free parking, and then I'd usually just walk up. And I've done that hundreds of times. I managed to went up there. I didn't even climb the stairs. I would always take stairs. I went in the elevator, and I probably walked about 12 steps, and then I had to turn around, go back in the car, and drive and park right in front of the building because that is how weak you feel. My legs kind of feel like jelly. I've noticed my ankles both, have swollen up as well. But I do see this occupational health therapist tomorrow, so she might take a look at that. It could be, because you can get it in anywhere in your body, but it's basically It's this arm that's like that. But not only do you have to hold your breath for the 25 seconds, you've got to have a snorkel in your mouth, just like when you're snorkeling. So you've got to have your nose pegged, hold your breath for 25 seconds, irradiate the area, and then and then you're done. And apparently, she said it takes about 15 minutes for the whole lot. For me, lying down, getting all organised, and then bang, it's done. But I've got to do it every single day. So I'm glad I'm feeling better today, because I just showering. There was one day when I usually, for me, when my husband leaves for work, he leaves about 10 to 5 in the morning. I always would be straight in the shower, having a shower and get dressed. There was a few days where I couldn't even bother having a shower, which is really something for me, not to have a shower. And what I was doing is, when he left for work, I'd go back to sleep. I'd just go back on my recliner and I'd fall asleep, and I'd wake up at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and have some breakfast, and then try to motivate myself to just do little things around the house. So it's still hard for me to do things. My husband still has to do the housework and stuff like that. He does all the cooking still, because it just exhausts me. Even like emptying the dishwasher, of all things, I'll go and have to sit down after I've done it. So, but today is the best I've felt for a long time. So it's only going to go. I'm only going to go forward now. It's only going to get better and better as I go along. The nurse did tell me that towards the end of the radiation, I'll probably feel a little bit tired. But everyone, and my oncologist nurse said the same thing, that radiation is a walk in the park compared to chemo, which I'm glad of. Some of the effects that you can get with radiotherapy, you can get some burns. So what I have to do is I have to make sure that after I've had a shower, and I've got to use unscented soap. So, they have given you like a soap-free wash, but just a tiny little bottle like that of QV, that you wash your area around, and then you've got to put some cream on it, on there. So it'll have to be on my scar, and then under my arm, and probably up here, I'd say. And but that's got to be 2 hours. There's got to be a 2-hour break. So if I did that within 2 hours, they wouldn't be able to radiate me. They have to make sure that cream is all soaked in. So you can get some burns, you can get some blisters. I'm hoping I won't, because I don't actually get sunburn. It looks like I'm burned, but then the next day it goes brown when I have been in the sun. I don't actually burn, so I'm very lucky with that. But that's another thing too. Now I have to really make sure that I keep out of the sun for the rest of my life practically. If I'm in it, I've got to make sure that I'm all covered up and sunscreen. I never even used to bother really much with sunscreen, unless I knew I was going out for a while. I've always had sunscreen in my normal moisturiser all the time, because that's one of the things that gives you wrinkles. Well, yeah, cancer gives you wrinkles too. I know. So I've got these, my lines on my face. I've got a couple of new ones down here, around my eyes and stuff like that. But I'll only get better. And you can't really go through something that threatens your life without leaving a mark on you, literally, besides losing your boob. So that's where I'm at. And then once my radiotherapy is finished, I also have to have a bone scan, because the radiotherapy and the chemo can affect your bones, more the radiotherapy. So the radiotherapist said to me that when I'm a little old lady, I have to be careful of my ribs, I might break easily. So I have to have a bone scan on the 20th to see what my bones are like, and also a blood test to see how my vitamin D levels are. And then I have to have a dental check, because he wants to give me something through the intravenously that it helps with the cancer, but it helps with your bones as well. But there's 1 in 1,000 that it can leave a hole in your jaw. So he's going to write a letter for the dentist, and I have to get my mouth checked out to make sure that it won't have that effect on me. So that's another thing. And I think I see him on the 27th of this month, and then he will give me a prescription for the hormone therapy, because I have to have that for 10 years. It's usually either 5 or 10 years. Now, unfortunately, some of the side effects that you can have with that is the aching bones, and with the chemo, let me tell you, the ache is like the first one that I had. My God, my back, I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. Stand up, sit down, lie down, nothing alleviate. It was like a pulse. When you get in that much pain, it goes boom. It feels like a heartbeat. That's what it was like. and my shins ached, my knees ached, my elbows ached. It was just everything aching, and apparently the hormone therapy tablets can make you ache. They can give you like menopause type of symptoms, the hot flashes, which I actually finished, funny enough, when I got diagnosed in December last year. And I've noticed this week I've had a couple of hot flashes, but nothing like I used to. So, but the hormone therapy is really, really important to have, because the oncologist said it's almost more important than the actual chemo, because this is what stops the cancer coming back. So because my cancer was progestogen and estrogen produced, that's why I have to take it to stop my body producing those two hormones, so it doesn't come back. And he said, you know, it's really, really important. I do know someone, I couldn't believe it when she said it, that she doesn't take it because it makes her feel like an 80-year-old lady. It's really, really super important, ladies, no matter how shit you feel, to take your hormone therapy tablets, because this is what prevents the cancer coming back. I did ask him the question about what's the chance of me having cancer again, and apparently with all the treatment that I've had, they actually do a little graph, and I don't know why, but some women who choose not to have chemo or not to have any treatment, I think they're practically killing themselves. They've got no chance of beating it, okay? So for me, I've got a 72% chance of it not coming back at all, but there's a 32% chance that it may come back. So of course I'm of the mindset that it's not going to come back, but I have noticed because my husband said, you know, that's pretty good, that's pretty good odds, but I have noticed sometimes I think, oh God, 32% it might come back, 32%, and I thought, hey, don't think like that, because what you put out in the universe has come back, so it's not going to come back. I'm determined it's not going to come back, because once I'm on my feet and I've finished all my treatment and I'm on the therapy, and then I can get back to, because last year I was actually focused on losing some weight, and I actually did, and then I found out I had cancer, and then of course that goes on the back burner, because you need the extra weight, and here goes a tear running down my eye, because you know the extra weight actually helps, because there was a young guy there, he was having treatment, he would have been probably all of 20, 25 at the most, and he was like a walking skeleton. He needed help to go to the toilet. He was so frail, honestly. That's what I mean. There is always people that are worse off than yourself. So I actually only fluctuated between 1 or 2 kilos on my weight, which I'm not going to reveal because I still can't believe I weigh that much. But anyway, once I'm fit and well again, then I will concentrate on getting better. I'm back onto a more healthier weight, because my entire life I was underweight. I was as low as 38 kilos when I used to be really depressed, but mostly my weight hovered around the 50 to 55, even after I had 2 kids. Never budged my weight until I hit menopause, and that's when I put it on. I kid you not. And I remember the same thing happened to my mother. She was very, very thin, as my youngest daughter is. She's got exactly the same body that I had when I was young. But I don't know, once you hit, I remember when Mum turned 45, she looked at herself and she said, oh geez, I'm getting fat, and it's true. It just, and I'm really sick of it when you hear, watch what you eat. I've been a 3 meal a day person for as long as I've lived. I've never snacked. I've never been a snacker. I can't, I've heard these things about, you've got to eat 5 meals a day to get your metabolism. I can't do it. I can only eat 3 times a day. Sometimes, because I have noticed the last couple of weeks my appetite wasn't the best. And, that's often because the food tastes like crap. You can taste like, salt. It's getting better, but it's still like today last night I made a soup to have some soup for lunch. And to me, it was still tasted a bit like salt for me. So sometimes I only eat twice a day, But because I can't physically move, because I can't go for walks like I used to every day, I'm still kind of can't believe that I didn't put on more weight. I thought I'd actually put on more weight, but I haven't. But I really cannot wait to get back to to a more healthier weight. That's all I want to be. I'm aiming to get around to 60 kilos, because when I was 55, I always thought I wish I could have just that extra 5 kilos on my bones. So that's what I'm sort of looking at. So that's about it in a nutshell about where I'm at and where I'm going and what I hope to achieve. And I still I still can't thank every one of you enough for all the prayers, the well wishes, the messages I get on Instagram, the emails I get. It is really, really freaking amazing. There's another tear on the other. This eye is actually the worst, my right eye. So I really can't thank you all enough. It just means the world to me. And every time I feel a little bit down, which I'm surprised I haven't felt more down, I read all the messages of support that I get, and it's really uplifted me, and it's really, really helped a lot. And it helps that much that I haven't needed to have any counselling. They keep trying to harass me to have counselling, and I don't need it because I've got all of you guys. I've got my husband who's been my rock. I just haven't needed it. Sure, if you know, if it had been a worse prognosis, if I had been, you know, like a terminal one, I think I probably would have gone for counselling, you know, I would have, but I've been okay, because I know I'm going to be all right. I'm going to beat this crap. It's not going to come back. But, you know, there's always that little bit of a fear that it might, but that's just something that I have to live with, and that's why when I'm back to my normal self, I'm really, really going to super concentrate on getting healthier, get back down to a healthier weight, and, you know, and just, you know, live my life the best that I can. So a really big thank you. I really cannot tell you how much I appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, this is Tracy.